our channel, Living with Joy. You probably already know we're involved with Compassionate Pug Rescue, a pug rescue in South Florida. Several years ago, we started cooking for our dogs. We felt like we wanted to know what they were eating. We wanted to know what ingredients were in their food. There was that tragic time when there was problems with commercial dog food and dogs were becoming ill and dying. And so we thought we could do better. So that's why we started preparing homemade food for the dogs. And our hope is that they'll live healthier, longer, happier lives. So we invest quite a bit in that belief. We spend about 5 hours a couple of times a month cooking for them. And today we're going to share that food, that recipe with you and how we feed our dogs. So thanks for joining us. Hi, my name is Mark. Welcome to Living with Joy, where we celebrate the joy of everyday living. Today I'm going to show you how I make food for the dogs. I do this about every 10 days. I get all the ingredients from Aldi, and it runs about $60 a batch. So let's get started. So here are the ingredients. I'll also list them below in the comments so you can have a shopping list. So chicken breast, I get it from Aldi's because it's the cheapest. We also do sweet peas, frozen sweet peas, green beans, and we cut them up very fine. If they don't have fresh green beans, you can use frozen. We also do zucchini, squash, and carrots. In addition, I add brown rice, dried cranberries, a bag of sweet potatoes, canned pumpkin, and several different kinds of beans. These are Great Northern beans, so white beans. We also add black beans and garbanzo beans. And I do 2 cans of each kind of beans. So the first step is to boil the chicken. So we need a big pot. We'll add water about halfway through. And then we'll put in our chicken breast. So now that our water is boiling, we can go ahead and add our chicken. Now we'll let that boil for about 30 minutes. While we're waiting for our chicken to boil, we could go ahead and prep our other vegetables. So let's go ahead and start with the carrots. So once we have the carrots peeled and the ends cut off, we can go ahead and put them through the chopper. So this is just a little handheld chopper. What I like about it is it's easy to clean up. Now that we've finished with the carrots, so we get all that good nutritious vitamin A, good for their eyes, especially those puggy eyes, we'll go ahead and we can do our zucchini. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to rinse it, cut off the ends, and then put it through the chopper. And we'll do the same with our yellow squash. And now we'll go ahead and get the beans ready. So we're going to go ahead and rinse them. And by now, our chicken should be done. So I went ahead and boiled the chicken for closer to 45 minutes because I wanted to make sure it was done. I'd rather it be extra tender rather than not cooked through. So we'll go ahead and take it out of the pot and let that chicken cool, and then we can cut it up. There's part of it. And I saved the broth from the chicken because I used that stock to cook the rice. So the rice has a chicken flavor. Now we'll go ahead and do the rice. So again, we're going to use that same broth that we used for the chicken. We'll put it on the same burner where the chicken was. So this measuring cup measures 4 cups. So I'm going to do 8 cups of broth. And I'm going to go ahead and use the whole bag of brown rice. Give that a little stir. Go ahead and put on the lid. Once that starts to boil again, I'll turn it down and just let it simmer. That'll take about 30 minutes. I also save a little bit of the chicken broth just in case the food's a little dry, so I can moisten it with the chicken broth. So I can go ahead and put that aside. And while the rice is cooking, I can go ahead and get the sweet potatoes started. So I put water in the pot. And I'll go ahead and add those sweet potatoes and just let them boil up. So we can go ahead and check our rice. It's been about half an hour. And oh yeah, all the liquid's absorbed, so that rice is all set. Our sweet potatoes are still not boiling, so they will be boiling. They'll cook up. So now's a good time to start cutting up our chicken. So now we'll go ahead and cut up the main ingredient, which is the chicken. So we want to cut that nice and fine for them, enough that they can get the flavor of the chicken, but we want to make sure that the pieces are nice and small and easy to eat as well. Also, if the chicken is still a little warm, it's easier to work with. So you want it warm enough that it's easy to work with, but still cool enough that you can handle it. So this is a time-consuming piece. So we'll go ahead and work on this, and then we'll come back to you. So while we're waiting for everything to finish boiling, we can go ahead and open up our cans and rinse our beans off. Strainer. We can get out the excess liquid. then we'll mix them up and they'll be ready to use. Now our sweet potatoes are done, so we can go ahead and take those off the stove. Again, we'll let those cool a little bit so we can handle them. We're going to go ahead and rinse out this pot because this is what we're going to use to mix everything in. Now we'll peel our sweet potatoes. Just cut off both ends, slice it down the middle, and squeeze the potato out. Joy, down. Now we have all our ingredients finished and we're ready to just mix them up. It's ready to go in the freezer. I'll keep 2 packs in the refrigerator, because that's what they'll eat for about a day and a half. And then when I start the second pack from the refrigerator, I'll take one out of the freezer, let it defrost in the refrigerator for about a day, and then I'll keep going like that. And like I said, that'll last us about 10 days. Now keep in mind, this is feeding 3 dogs, a pug, a mini golden doodle, and a Yorkie mix. So you'll see them later on in the video. But if you have fewer dogs, of course, it will last longer. So this batch made about 14 containers full, but the containers are slightly different sizes. They're used containers from takeout, but it did make 14, and the different sizes actually make it a little easier to put in the freezer, so that's just something to keep in mind. It's not going, right? So now we'll see what our customers think. This is Joy. This is Violet. Yoda. I think it's a hit. Now we're ready to feed the food that we made. So I start out with good quality kibble, and I do that just in case there's some vitamins or minerals, something that the dogs need that's not in the food that I make for them, just to cover and make sure they're getting everything, so they're getting good nutrition. So I use Merrick, but any good quality kibble obviously is good. Mix that with a little water, just to soften it a little bit. And then we go ahead and add in the food that we worked for about 5 hours today making. Yes, Yoda, you're gonna eat. I want to share with you the hijinks that go on as we're getting their food ready. Yoda is coming. That's how feeding goes at our house. We do that twice a day, morning and evening. If you found this video helpful, please comment below. If you do make food for your dog, we'd love to hear about it. And of course, if you would be so kind as to like and subscribe and share this video. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great rest of your day and keep living with joy.
Thanks for watching. Keep living with joy.